We have a major projection right now. Doug Jones, the Democrat, he will be the next United States Senator from Alabama.
Wolf, it is absolutely deafening in here.
I have always believed that the people of Alabama had more in common than to divide us.
It was an earthquake, you could say.
This is a huge defeat for President Trump.
Yeah.
This is deep red Alabama.
We have shown not just around the state of Alabama, but we have shown the country the way that we can be unified. Alabama has been at a crossroads. We have been at crossroads in the past. And unfortunately, we have usually taken the wrong fork. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you took the right road. I am running for governor of Alabama.
Democrats are spinning a comeback narrative in deep red Alabama.
Jones is the last Democrat to win statewide office in Alabama.
And the Democrat says he wants to fight for the people.
Alabama wants their next governor to be someone who lives here, who works here, who listens to the people of this state, who understands the people of this state. People are hurting. They can't afford groceries. They can't afford housing. They can't afford health insurance. And they're looking for alternatives.
There is a lane where he can actually win this.
I think that it will energize the base of Democrats throughout the state of Alabama.
And we can do this, folks. I am tired of having this state looked at as nothing but one of hate and division. And Alabama wants their next governor to be someone who treats this state with grace and dignity and not just like a rest stop on the way to the Florida beach. So I need your help.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Gaines Jr., freshman at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, majoring in political science and public administration. And tonight, I stand here honored as a proud supporter and volunteer for Doug Jones for Alabama. A little about me. I didn't grow up in a politically engaged household, so debates and elections weren't regular topics in our home. Until more recently, but going back to 2017, I was only 9 or 10 years old, so politics was not only something I did not understand, nor did I pay attention. In a serious way, I was simply a student living life. However, I still remember that year because the atmosphere, it was different. It was not the temporary excitement of Alabama winning a football game. It was celebration. It was loud. What I sensed in 2017 was deeper than that. People were paying attention with purpose this time. The outcome felt personal. Even as a child, I could tell that something was off. I could tell that something important was happening and that people were deciding to believe that Alabama could choose a different path. As I grew older, it showed that Doug Jones' leadership mattered to me. He represented seriousness, integrity, and service. He helped shape the way I understand public policy, not through slogans, but showing that leadership can be steady, honest, and serious, and focused on what it does for people that it serves. So, when I am asked, why do I support Doug Jones? It is because it means hope. It means hope for greater transparency, so the public is not left in the dark. It means hope for a real seat at the table for people like me. It means hope for me and my peers who is often spoken about but not represented. So with that success in Alabama, it is not limited to who you know and what you have or where you come from. I believe that this election is about more than a single candidate. It's about the kind of Alabama we want to build. An Alabama that values honesty, invites participation, and creates goodwill. Alabama, it's time for change, and that change starts tonight with Doug Jones for Alabama. Thank you.
Good evening, Alabama. Are y'all excited tonight? Are y'all ready to vote Doug Jones for the next governor of Alabama? My name is James Fields IV, and I am 22 years old. I am a recent graduate of Miles College. And although I was not born here in Alabama, I am proud to call Alabama my home. I'm here tonight not as part of any campaign staff, but as a supporter, a young voter, and someone who believed deeply in Doug Jones representing us for the state of Alabama. In 2017, I was just a teenager watching the election from afar. I remember the energy, the excitement, and the disbelief across the country when Doug Jones won. But more than anything, I remember the hope it created. That's why I'm here tonight. I believe Doug Jones' run for governor matters. It matters because he leads with integrity. It matters because he listened. And it matters because he sees the same potential in Alabama's and so many young people like myself. For my generation, this election comes at a time where we're facing challenges, inflation, student debt, and ongoing fights for social justice and voting rights. Now, for the first time, we get to be a part of history. We get to speak up, and we get to shape the future we would like to have. Doug Jones inspired us, and today, that hope is in our hands. Thank you, Alabama. Let's make this moment more than just about us. Let's do it together. Doug Jones for Alabama.
How are we doing, Alabama? I'm Reagan Hope Wilson. I'm from Tuscumbia, Alabama, and I'm a social work student at the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. And I'm going to be working every day for the next 11 months to elect Doug Jones, the next governor of Alabama. And we need all of you there. We need everyone, all ages, everyone. In 2017, I was 14 years old, I was a freshman in high school, and I secretly phone banked under the age rule for Doug Jones. This is so surreal, and this special moment is because of so many people who have worked since then to make this moment. There have been steps forward and there have been steps backwards, and we are going to work every single day to keep the momentum going, to fight for the Alabama that we know we deserve. I love my beautiful and hard state, and I know it's worth fighting for. And it's going to be a trek. For the next 11 months, we're all going to have to work hard and lock in, and we're going to have to do everything we need to do. It's going to be knocking on doors. It's going to be making calls. It's going to be giving money if you have money. And if you're young and you don't have any money, there's a job for you. And in all counties, all over the state. One of my favorite things that Senator Jones, one of the lessons I feel like I've gotten from his career is that you can love Alabama and be honest about it. I love Alabama because I can tell the truth about it and know that a better one and a truer and more beautiful one for my neighbors is worth fighting for. So with that, I also have the incredible privilege of announcing someone whose storytelling and songwriting tells the truth about the South. In all its complexity, this moment is just so special to me, and I'm so excited to introduce a fellow Shoals native, Jason Isbell.
Hello, hello.
I love it when I feel like a real folk singer. I feel like a real folk singer tonight. You know, it is an honor and a privilege for me to stand up here and represent Doug Jones for Alabama. I think, I think if everybody who was running for this office was a good, honest person, I think Doug would still be a great candidate. But I love Doug. I think a lot of him, and it truly is. It's a big deal for me to be up here. Thank all y'all for coming tonight. Well, I moved into this room, if you could call it that, a week ago. I never do what I'm supposed to do, hardly even know my name anymore. When no one calls it out, kind of vanishes away. And I can't get to sleep at night. The parking lot's so loud and bright. The AC hasn't worked in 20 years. Probably never made a single person cold. But I can't say the same for me. I've done it many times. Somebody take me home through those Alabama pines. You can't drive through Talladega on that weekend in October. Just head up north to Jacksonville and cut around and over, watch her speed at Bowling Springs. 'Cause they ain't got a thing to do, they'll get you every time. Somebody take me home through those Alabama pines. Somebody take me home through those Alabama pines. Oh, if we pass through on a Sunday, better make a stop in Wayne's. It's the only open liquor store north, and I can't stand the pain of being by myself without a little help on a Sunday afternoon. And I needed that damn woman like a dream needs gasoline. But I tried to be some ancient kind of man, one that's never seen the beauty in the world, till I tried to chase it down and make the whole thing mine. Now somebody take me home through those Alabama pines. Somebody take me home through those Alabama pines. Been stuck here in this town, if you could call it that, a year or two. I never do what I'm supposed to do. I don't even need a name anymore. When no one calls it out, it kind of vanishes away. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As long as it rhymes, I'll say it. When I get home from work, I'll call up all my friends and we'll go bust up something beautiful we'll have to build again. When I get home from work, I'll wrestle off my clothes and leave them right inside the front door. Nobody's home to know, 'cause a hammer finds a nail and the freight train needs a rail. I guess I'm doing what I'm on this earth to do. 'Cause I don't think, oh, I'm here where it hurts. I'm just just lucky to have the work. Sunday morning, I'm too tired to go to church, but I thank God for the word. I thank God for the word. When I get my reward, my work will all be done, and I will sit back in my chair beside the Father and the Son, with no more holes to fill and no more rocks to break, and no more loading boxes onto trucks for someone else's sake, because a hammer finds a nail and the poor man's up for sale. I guess I'm doing what I'm on this earth to do, 'cause I don't think, oh, I'm here where it hurts. I'm just lucky to have the word. And every night I dream I'm drowning in the dirt, but I thank God for the word. And the day will come, I'll find a reason, somebody proud to love a man like me, 'cause my back is numb, my hands are freezing, but what I'm working for is something more than free. 'Cause I don't think, oh, I'm here where it hurts. I'm just lucky to have the word. Sunday morning, I'm too tired to go to church, but I thank God for the word. I thank God for the word. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. A lot of the songs that I write deal with working folks, and I grew up in Green Hill, Alabama, where everybody up there worked really, really hard, except for me. I didn't work very hard. But a lot of these songs, you know, I'm thinking about my father and things that my dad said to me and things that my dad taught me as I was growing up, and just watching his life, you know. And now we're at a point where he, you know, my dad and a lot of folks like my dad are at serious risk of a lot of things going really wrong for them right now. And my dad's lucky because he knows that if you know, I'll probably just pay his health insurance if I have to. But I would sure love to not have to do that. And that's a joke. It's okay to tell a joke. But the truth is, you know, my family's in Alabama, and my heart is in Alabama, and I spend a great deal of my time here. My little brother lives here. He's an electrician in Elgin, Alabama, and he's a good man. He's a hardworking man. And I still remember what it was like to grow up in this state and to have to dig and claw and just hope that nobody was pulling against me on the other side, much less to have somebody like Doug Jones who actually cares, who actually really does care. I've had so many conversations with people in the music business and people that I've known for a long time, and the conversations usually turn into arguments. You know, and a lot of them will tell me, no politician cares about us. And every time somebody says that, I think about Doug Jones, and I think that is wrong. I have proof. So it's a real honor for me to be here tonight. It's an honor to be Doug's friend, and it's going to be an honor to vote for him 4 or 5 different times under different names. used to think that this was my town. What a stupid thing to think. I hear you fighting on the breakdown. I myself am on the brink. I used to want to be a real man. I don't know what that even means. Now I just want you in my arms again, so we can search each other's dreams. I know you're tired and you ain't sleeping well. You're uninspired, likely mad as hell. But wherever you are, I hope the high road leads you home again. I heard enough of the white man's blues, sang enough about myself. So if you're looking for some bad news, you can find it somewhere else. 'Cause last year was a son of a bitch for nearly everyone we know. Oh, but I ain't fighting with you down in the ditch. I'll meet you up here on the road. I know you're tired and you ain't sleeping well. You're uninspired, likely mad as hell. But wherever you are, I hope the high road leads you home again to a world you want to live in. We'll ride the ship down, dumping buckets overboard. 'Cause there can't be more than us. There can't be more. I know you're tired and you ain't sleeping well. You're uninspired, likely mad as hell. But wherever you are, I hope the high road leads you home again to a world you want to live in. To a world you want to live in. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all keep that energy up for the next year. I know that you will. I ain't worried about the people in this room. And it feels good to be in this room with all y'all. But I have to bring somebody up now that's very, very significant to this campaign, maybe the most important person of all here. And I don't know if I'm supposed to tell this or not, but the way Doug originally told me was that he was going to run was he said, well, I believe Louise is going to let me do it. And that's something that I understand. So I'm going to bring her up now to speak. Thank you so much, Louise Jones, for letting Doug do this and for doing it yourself.
More? Louder? Louder? Okay. When we did the run a show earlier for this, I think I kind of snuck right in that I might sing. And then I said, well, I might sing with Jason. And no one thought that was good. No one said, go, Louise, you can do it. And my husband, who even shushes me in church, said, really, no. And I said, well, I could just stand there while he's singing. That would be good, right? Yeah, it would be good. Thank y'all for being here. What a great, great crowd. Yeah! Let me tell y'all, long before Doug ever considered running for office, he was the kind of person who stepped forward when others were stepping back. Someone who listens first, leads with integrity, and believes deeply in the power of service. I would definitely have to say that his listening skills are, they're really good at work, but at home, not so much, right? I can remember once when a friend of mine, I had to talk to him about a legal question, and she called me so excited, and she said, "Oh my gosh, he's such a good listener." And I said, "What?" And then I said, "I beg your pardon?" Because I was trying to be nice. And then I said, "Doug who?" Like, I had no idea who this person was. But I do want to tell you, I know y'all know what I'm saying. I know the spouses out in this group know exactly what I'm saying. Our campaign in 2017 was filled with the hope of so many who were craving representation in a way they had not seen in some time. But elected, the knives came out. And Doug's response was not surprise. It wasn't anger. It wasn't even bitterness. He simply kept doing his job. I will have to tell you, on the other hand, I might have been a little bit better. I was a little bit better. I can admit it. I'm a big enough person. I can say I was a little bit bitter. And I definitely, my language, yeah, they would not have welcomed that in church. No, no. But it taught me a valuable lesson. And that lesson was that it reminded me of why my husband continues to inspire me. And through it all, his desire to serve continued, right? And while his time in the Senate was extraordinary, it was also filled with frustrations of too little time and so much he wanted to accomplish for Alabama. Doug made handwritten notes filling multiple legal pads during hearings on the Hill. And he wanted to review that testimony so he could make an informed vote, right? So many colleagues were never listening because they already knew how they were going to vote. And it didn't matter what information was provided. These hearings strained the nation and tore at its very fabric as never before. And though through it all, his desire to serve continued. I've watched Doug dedicate his life to bringing people together even when the issues are hard and the stakes are high. He's always believed that our state is strongest when every community has a voice. And when, yes. And when leaders put people ahead of politics. And through it all, his desire to serve continued. In 2017, on election night, once we knew the election was about to be called, and we were rushing to get down, we were at the Sheraton, and we were rushing in the elevators to get down to the ballroom, where a lot of our supporters were. Yeah, I hope some of you, right? Some of you were there. We could hear y'all. It made us so happy. And so we got in the elevator. It was Doug and I, our sons, Doug's mom, some close friends, and Charles Barkley. Yeah, he got right on in there. And so, Charles was great. He had so generously campaigned with us in the days leading up to the election. And he turns around in the elevator, and y'all know Charles. He's a big guy, right? He's a big guy, and so we're not. And so, but he said he was talking to us, and we could hear the crowd erupting, as we were going down, folks celebrating. And he said, I have done some great things in my career. I have done some things I never thought I would have the opportunity to do. But he said, today is the best day of my life. husband better say our wedding day was first and that was second. Y'all ask him about that when he comes out. But his energy on election night was contagious. And we feel that same excitement in this room with y'all tonight. But I hope y'all remember that day like we do. The hope, the excitement, and the anticipation of better things to come for our Alabama. Let's feel that hope again. We need not only a snapshot of what a win will look like, but let's anticipate the effort it will take. We need you. We need your help. We need your commitment. We need you from now until Election Day to ask yourself, what can I do today to help Doug win? Now, I know everybody in here has their phone, so let's get it out. Let's get that phone out right now. Let's get it out. And let's make a daily reminder. Mine is going to be easy. I'm going to say, yeah, you're on. But make a daily reminder. One thing, whether it be big or small, to support Doug in this important race, such as conversation with a friend, a family member, a neighbor, or a coworker about why you are voting for Doug Jones. Posting on social media. I've got some good stuff for that, y'all. Doug was doing some work in the yard. That may make it next. Because, you know, he never does that. Making a donation or signing up to volunteer for the campaign. We need all y'all together in this with us. Tonight, I am really proud to stand with Doug just like I did in 2017 as someone who shares his hope for Alabama's future. Doug is running for governor because he believes this state's best days are ahead of us. And because he knows that progress comes when we all work together and believe in what we can accomplish together. It's my honor to introduce the man you're here to see, the man I know and love, and the candidate who is ready to lead Alabama forward, my guy, Doug Jones.
You wasn't expecting When a Man Loves a Woman on a walk-up song, were you? Well, it is our 33rd wedding anniversary today. So I thought it appropriate to do that. I mean, how's everybody doing? What a crowd. This is awesome. So real quick, I want to thank a couple people at the outset. I want to thank Ken and Cindy Roden for letting us have this incredible venue at the Theodore. I want to thank those amazing young folks, Robert and James and Reagan, who came up here to start this program. DJ Slim Rob over here somewhere. Where is he? Where is he? Over there. And, of course, my buddy Jason Isbell. Give it up for me. Now, to just get this out of the way right off, I'm Doug Jones, and I am running to be your next governor. Thank you. Thank you. And I want you to, I want you to give it up one more time for the next First Lady of Alabama, my running mate, Louise. Folks, I see so many friends, at least the ones I can see out there, and I so much appreciate you coming tonight. It is no accident that we are here on December 12th, 8 years ago to the day that Alabama proved that it could defy simplified labels of red and blue. It could defy folks who would pit us against each other with this us versus them mentality. That it could defy political pundits who never gave this son of a Fairfield, Alabama steelworker and a stay-home mom, who I miss, never gave us a snowball's chance in hell of winning a statewide political campaign. But you gave me the great, great honor of serving as your United States Senator, and I'll always do. But folks, but let me tell you something. December 12th, it is more than this. It is more than this. We've had the honor of serving as your United States Senator. But it is more than about that. On December the 12th of 2017, you shocked the nation. You shocked the country. You shocked the world. And I may have to pull out my speech here. Hang on a minute. Gordon? The hell with it. I'll pull it out. All right. I'm here. I'm here. Let me tell you something. I'm prepared to be governor, okay? I am prepared. All right. So, on December 12th, 8 years ago on this very day, you shocked the nation. For too long, Alabama had been seen as a state of divisions, a state that had suffered from just an array of embarrassments from office holders who really cast a shadow on the good people of Alabama and our reputation. On that unforgettable night 8 years ago, you stood up and you said something simple but powerful. We can do better. You stated with your votes that our values, Alabama values, are more important than any political party, any personality, any prepackaged ideology. We believe in hard work. We believe in fairness. We believe in looking out for our neighbors, even when we don't always agree with those neighbors, which seems to be a lot going on these days. We believe in telling the truth, which not everybody in this country believes anymore. And even above all else, we believe that every person deserves dignity, respect, opportunity, and a voice. And folks, those are not Republican values or Democratic values. They're Alabama values. And they are worth fighting for. They are worth fighting for because, and most significantly, and I think Louise alluded to this too, on that election day in 2017, we gave the people, not just in Alabama, but across this country, something even more significant. We gave them hope. We gave people hope. Hope for less chaos. Hope for more unity. Hope for a stronger democracy. And today, 8 years later, we're rekindling that hope, that optimism, that enthusiasm, because let's face it, there is a greater urgency for hope today than there was in 2017. And that hope, it's not just what we see coming out of Washington these days, the attacks on democracy, attacks on freedom of speech and freedom of religion. You know, it's attacks on minorities in the media, attacks on the rule of law where political adversaries are targeted and political cronies are pardoned. We're seeing proven science being cast aside, placing our health at risk, okay? Policies that we're seeing coming out of the executive branch and executive orders that only benefit tech bros and billionaires while working folks struggle to make ends meet. That's what we're seeing. And we're seeing farmers losing their markets and forced to take subsidies and handouts from the government in order to survive. And the list goes on. And you know what? Tommy Tuberville continues with a full-throated endorsement of all of those things that are wrong. No, but it's just not folks like Tuberville in Washington, but right here at home. Right here at home where our legislature is taking funds out of public schools and funding private schools that have no accountability. It's right here at home where hospitals are closing or teetering on the brink of closing, where we are open for business, which I applaud, but still Alabama has one of the lowest workforce participation rates in the entire country, where the number of children in poverty has actually gone up, where we talk a good game about mental health, but then we just warehouse folks in prison instead of getting them the help they need. It's where we've decided that we would build 2 brand new prisons at the cost of $900 million of COVID money. COVID money. Only in Alabama, only to see the cost of those prisons skyrocket. And now we've spent over $1.2 billion for building 1 prison. We still have 1 to go. And guess what? There ain't no more COVID money to pay for it, folks. So where's it going to come from? And I can tell you this too, as somebody who was a former prosecutor, 2 different stints as a prosecutor in the United States Attorney's Office here, of which I'm very, very proud. I've done my share of keeping our streets safe, of keeping our community safe. And I'm going to tell you, we are not going to turn around one of the most horrific and neglected prison systems in the country by just building $2 billion prisons. We have to do better. We have to do, and we will do better. You know, folks, I was born here in Alabama. I was raised right here. It's the only place I have ever lived is right here in Alabama. And you honored me by making you your senator. And I did my best not to be just a senator, but to be Alabama senator, to be your senator. And I worked every day to reflect our values and to never, ever embarrass you or our state on a national stage. You know, no one ever gets it all right all of the time, and there are folks that disagreed with me on some things, but they can never, ever deny that I showed up every day to try to bring people together, to work together. I worked tirelessly. My staff will tell you, they worked tirelessly too for bills that created jobs, that strengthened veterans' rights and restored veterans' benefits. We didn't just block military promotions. We actually did something for the military. We supported small businesses and increased funding for our great HBCUs in Alabama and protected civil rights. And folks, I think one of the proudest things I can talk about my time in the Senate, I think we did all that without turning Alabama into a punchline. Okay? So I'm here tonight to carry that agenda forward. In a time when life is getting harder for too many folks in Alabama, I'm going to do all I can to ease that burden and to give people of Alabama something that too many politicians in Montgomery just don't want you to have. A choice. A choice. A choice. Up and down the ticket, we're going to give folks a choice. Next November, the people of Alabama have the chance to look at Montgomery in the eye and say, we can do better. Because the truth is this, folks, and you know this, the truth is this. When politicians stay in power by keeping you out of the process, when they stack the deck, when they cling to one-party rule, they're not serving Alabama. They're just serving themselves and the special interests and lobbyists that feed off it. You guys realize that 2/3 of Alabamans believe that their state government doesn't really care what they think. Anybody here surprised about that? No. I don't think so. Just think of all that we could have had in this state if the people in control of our state government in Montgomery truly cared about what the people thought and needed. Think of all we could have. First and foremost, how we would have had a lottery years ago. All right? I mean, good grief. That ought to be a no-brainer, but when you got folks with no brains, then So instead of watching literally millions of dollars bleeding across our borders into Georgia and Florida and even Tennessee and Mississippi, where that money could be staying home working for you. I mean, look, of all the southern states, we stick out like the proverbial sore thumb because those in power in Montgomery just refuse to allow you the opportunity for a vote on a lottery. Well, that's going to change, folks. That's going to change. And we're going to bring this in line. Something, a couple of other things that we would have if people would listen to you. We'd have early voting. Okay? We'd have early voting just like 47 other states in the country. 47 other states. So you know what? You know why they have early voting? Because unlike Alabama, they trust their citizens. Okay? They trust their citizens not to let the boogeyman of voter fraud come out. They trust them. But in here, we make it harder to vote. We are going to be investing in ways to make it easier to vote, not harder. And if you think about this, think about this whole voting thing. What do you think they're scared of? Are they scared? Are they scared that the wrong people are going to vote? Probably so. Because that's why they would rather suppress those votes rather than compete for those votes. And we're going to compete for every vote in Alabama. And while I'm at it, and I can really work myself up about this voting stuff, okay? So, but while I'm at it, I want to talk about we have got to stop clinging to the fear, clinging to an antiquated, rigged system of outdated, straight ticket voting. Alabama is, y'all may not know, but Alabama's only one of 5 states. Hell, even Texas did away with it recently. Okay? One of 5 states that insist on straight ticket voting, which we know is nothing more than a rigged system to keep powerful people in power, even as they fail us every dang year. So, folks, if folks were listening to you, and this is really important, if folks were listening to you, we would take every possible measure to protect families so that Alabama would not have one of the highest rates of maternal mortality and infant mortality in this country. We would have taken every measure so that Alabama would not have earned an F on maternal health from the March of Dimes. Not some crazy leftist organization, the March of Dimes. Now think about it, an F in a state that proclaims itself to be so pro-life, we earn an F in caring for mothers. We can do better, folks. And let me tell you, and while I'm on the subject about mothers, I want to make something crystal clear. Crystal clear. because I'm going to promise you, and you can take it to the bank, I will do everything possible as governor to protect IVF and contraception. I will do everything, because make no mistake, folks, the people that work to try to control Montgomery every day, that's what they're coming for next. It started with abortion, but they're coming for IVF and they're coming for contraception, but they are going to get stopped in their tracks. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. And in an issue that you have heard me talk about before, and I think is probably the most significant and one of the most critical issues for this state, for the health of this state, for the prosperity, the economic prosperity of this state. One of the things we would have done long ago, if people in Montgomery had been actually listening to you, is we would have expanded Medicaid. We would have, look, we would have expanded Medicaid so that our neighbors would not have the highest rate of diabetes and heart disease in the entire nation. We would have expanded Medicaid so that rural hospitals wouldn't be shutting their doors, but those communities would instead be reaping the benefits of better health and incredible economic benefits that comes when those hospitals thrive. Now, y'all know I've been talking about this a long time. Lord have mercy, it's like a broken record. I say that to folks. Our campaign in 2017, we beat the Bushes for Medicaid expansion, even though as a senator, I couldn't do that, and I knew that, but we were trying to give that promotion. We were trying to have that bully pulpit, because the numbers in Alabama are staggering. Over 1 million people in this state, about 20% or more of the population qualify for Medicaid today, and over half of those are children. Medicaid is the backbone of our healthcare system, and expanding it will not just save rural hospitals. It'll provide health insurance coverage for veterans who can't qualify for all veterans benefits. It'll support healthy pregnancies and births. It'll increase cancer survival rates, and it'll give greater access to mental health services, and thus have a huge impact on our criminal justice system. Look, but you know, it's pretty obvious that I am preaching to the choir here. And that's a good thing, because we need your help with this. We're going to start this year to really pump this up. But I want to tell you something that you may not know or fully appreciate. And that's that Tommy Tuberville with his... Okay. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine. Just... What you may not realize is that Tuberville, with this Donald Trump first and Alabama as an afterthought mindset, his blind support of what I call the anything but beautiful bill, Tuberville has been slamming the door on Medicaid expansion. That bill creates even more roadblocks to expanding Medicaid and all of the health and economic benefits that come with it. And to make matters worse, just today or yesterday, Tuberville, who voted against extending those ACA subsidies, he is perfectly content with letting those subsidies die. Subsidies that so many of our Alabama neighbors and probably family members depend on for health insurance, who fall in that gap and have used that to buy health insurance to keep their families healthy. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the health of Alabama families. He just cares more about what's going on the beach down in Santa Rosa. But I can promise you this, folks. I can promise you this again. When I am elected governor of Alabama, we're going to do everything in our power, everything, to get health care to every Alabamian. And if that means expanding Medicaid with the stroke of the governor's pen, then I am damn sure going to do it. Thank you. Folks, I love all those signs. Those are pretty cool. Folks, I am running for governor because there has never been a better time to reconnect people to their government, to empower people to work beyond Montgomery. The foundation of change and progress is to empower people with a measure of real control to decide questions that affect their lives. That power is concentrated and has been concentrated in Montgomery for too long. It has been too great for too long, and we need, and you need a greater voice in deciding critical questions. And you can do it when we pass a ballot initiative and referendums that give you the opportunity to put things on the ballot to vote for. We'll do that by giving counties and cities in Alabama more power to solve their problems at a local level. So that our poor mayors and county commissioners don't have to make that long slog to Montgomery to beg for things that they need to do on their local level that people elected them to do, but they got to go get permission from the Alabama legislature. That's wrong, folks, and we're going to change it. Those politicians always talk about Alabama's protecting Alabama's values, but it's about damn time that they listen to the constituents and not the power brokers in Montgomery to tell them directly what that is. So, folks, I'm running and I'm encouraging others to run because I want to empower the young people of Alabama to become more involved, to take ownership and build their future, to take on a system in Montgomery that must be challenged if we're ever to have any change, if we're ever to have any progress. You talk to any young person in Alabama, those three that were here, they'll tell you the same story. They want a good education. They want to work hard. They're ready to build a life. They'd love to stay in Alabama if they have the opportunities. But they're worried about what that future might hold. They're worried that leaders in Montgomery focus on imaginary threats to their way of life and their power while AI and automation grows and no one in Montgomery seems to want to lift a finger to prepare them for it. They see businesses coming to Alabama. Again, we're open for business and that's wonderful. But they worry that whether or not businesses will use those tax breaks for their investors and their CEOs and not for their workforce. That happens all the time, folks. Young men and women who have grown up and want to work and carry on the tradition of the family farm are worried that they won't be able to because of the tariffs that Tuberville supports, which are causing them to lose markets, while countries like Argentina gain those markets. And we give them $40 billion of your money to prop up their economy. If y'all ever get a chance, ask Tommy to try to explain that. Okay? Somebody who sits on the agriculture committee, okay? And maybe he thinks he's sitting on Argentina's agriculture committee. I don't know. But I do know this. Just like Alabama farmers, our young people don't want a handout. They want a fair shot. They want a fair shot. So, folks, look, none of this that we're talking about here tonight, none of this is a game. It's not some damn sporting event. And I know Louise is going to give me a hard time because I've used too many profane words. But it is what it is. This is not a game. It is not a sporting event. When nearly 1 out of 5 young Alabamians can't find a job that pays the bills and forces them to leave their communities that they love, that ain't a game, folks. That's not a game. That's our future and their future on the line. When you lose access to health care and a child or parent falls ill, it's not a game. It is not winners or losers. It's not a game. It's life. When energy bills skyrocket, and families have to choose between keeping the lights on or putting food on the table, or heating the home or putting food on the table. That's no game. When AI begins shutting down plants and factories and data centers jack up your electricity bills while elected officials are too busy courting billionaires and tech bros, and not protecting Alabama jobs and making life affordable, that's not a game. And when one party controls state government the way we see being controlled now, smothering innovation, smothering hope, it is absolutely not a game. Folks, let me tell you something. Despite all that you may hear about football and sports and metaphors, Alabama's not a stadium, okay? Our lives, your lives, our lives are not a scoreboard. And public service is most certainly not a game. This is about families, our communities, our state. We must not only give people the opportunity of choice, but we've also got to give them a vision. As Louise and I kind of eased into this campaign, which is giving it a lot of credit, we eased into this campaign, I've been asked, and I asked myself, what is your vision for Alabama? What's the vision for Alabama? I believe that's an essential question for any candidate to answer at any level, but especially a governor. And that answer cannot lie in a series of promises or policy statements. It's much more of a feeling. It's much more of an emotional attachment to the state where you don't just have a house, but a state where you have a home. That's what this is about. And in trying to think about that, it brought to mind a song that I really love. A song that was recorded by 4 incredibly talented female recording artists who called themselves the Highwomen. Okay? And the song is Crowded Table. Some of you know it. And the chorus and some lyrics to that song include this. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world, and while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. The door is always open. Your picture's on the wall. Everyone's a little broken, and everyone belongs. It's a powerful song about community, bringing people together despite their differences. If you haven't heard it, listen to it on your way home. It is much like our victory in 2017, an anthem about finding strength in unity and ensuring that everyone has a place at the table and a sense of belonging. That, folks, is my vision for Alabama. For too long, folks, for too long, we have been a house divided in many, many ways. And politicians have played on what was essentially a political rivalry, sports rivalries, to divide us even further. They've taken our sports rivalries and made it and turned it bad. They've taken all that and turned us on each other. For too long, they have taken that and used it to bitterly divide us in some sort of competition, not with another state, but against each other. It's us versus them, good versus evil, where the goal is to have winners and losers. But this is not a game, folks. It's not a game where your governor or other public official should be picking winners and losers the way we've seen. I see Alabama as that house with a crowded table, where there is always one more chair, so that everyone has a seat at that table, that there is always room by the fire, always a place for everyone, where the door is always open. And yeah, we're all a little bit different, but nobody gets turned away, where we belong to one another, flaws and all. Folks, 8 years ago, you sent that message to the entire country. It was that same message. You showed them that Alabama can surprise people every day, that Alabama could defy expectations, that Alabama can rise above division and say with one voice, we can do better, and we can do it better together. So the time for games is over. We're not starting the first quarter of a football game here. We are reinvigorating a journey that began on December 12th, 2017. And now, with your help, we can finish what we began. We can build the Alabama we've always deserved. We can all have a government that works not for the powerful, but a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So right now, tonight, December 12th, once again, let us make that recommitment, that commitment not to me, not to Doug Jones, but to each other. Let's make that promise real. Let's make that crowded table real. Let's make Alabama the state we all know it can be. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Alabama. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Come on.
Yeah, Doug Jones back again, 2020's on the page. Alabama needs a leader, not allowed up on the stage. He already beat a GOP giant once in the state. If he cracked that red wall, then why can't he dominate today? Especially when the party split fighting over who's in command. Doug steady with the blueprint while they sinking in the sand. Tuberville talk tough, but he fall under pressure. Man reads laws like riddles, can't measure the measure. Calling plays from the sideline, never touching the field. Doug built like a fortress, Tommy built like a shield with a crack. All talk, no stats. Doug carried real justice while Tommy carried hats. And Trump still yelling from the sidelines, tired and loud. More drama than solutions, just to hype up a crowd. Doug rise through division, Trump feeds it for scraps. One built bridges in Birmingham, one just builds traps. Then J.D. Vance with the flip-flop stance. Talks tough on the mic, but won't look truth in the glance. Goes wherever the wind blows, chasing political trends. Doug stays rooted in the people, that's the difference in men. Alabama needs progress, not a circus or a show. Not a coach who fumbles bills or recruits stuck years ago. Doug Jones brings dignity, a steady hand, and a plan, while the others chase spotlight just to say that they ran. So when 2020's hits in the ballots get thrown, remember he beat a Republican once, why not take back the throne? Stay tired of chaos, tired of noise with no gains. Doug Jones for the future, clear mind, clean change. Huh?
Have some fun. You like it? It was all good.
Hey.
Thank you, folks.
Hey. Hey.
All right, let's go. We're gonna go work the crowd.
Teach me how to Doug it. Hey.
Come on, let's go down.
They be like, Smooth, what? Can you teach me how to Doug it? You know why? Cause all the girls love me. All I need is a beat that's super bumpin'. And for you to back it up and dump it. Get it. Put your arms out front, lean side to side. They gon' be on you when they see you hit that Dougie ride. Ain't nobody getting with my bro from on the side. He go by Bubba and he hit that death like thunder. Okay, I ain't from Dallas, but I D-Town boogie. I show my moves on to everybody trying to do me. I lead the functions and all the ladies trying to screw me. Now you just do you, and I'ma do it all day. Dudes love to hate, so they try to shoot me. Females be stuck to me, I think they try to glue me. I make the party shine bright when it started gloomy. This beat was bubble gum, so I had to chew it.
Taste me how to Doug, taste me how to Doug, taste me how to Doug, taste me how to Doug.
Everybody love me, everybody love me, everybody love me. You ain't messing with my Dougie.
Taste me how to Doug, taste me how to Doug, taste me how to Doug, taste me how to Doug.
Everybody love me, everybody love me, everybody love me. You ain't messing with my Dougie.
The name is Young. For them dudes who don't know me, I know I'm from the West, but I can teach you how to Dougie. I step up in the club and all these girls but me. Your boy dancing, none of them know me. I hear the squad screaming like, hey, get it, Brody. So I move my shoulders and I take it real low. They like how we do that, he can Dougie on the floor. And when your boys stop, they like Dougie some more. I'm like, your boy kinda tired, and I pass it to the bro and boom. Show these cats how to do that. Down south dance that we learned a little too fast and brought it to the hood and got the whole crew cat.
Taste me how to Doug, taste me how to Doug, taste me how to Doug, taste me
love me. Everybody love me. Everybody love me. You ain't messing with my Dougie.
Hey. Back of the party, I don't really like to boogie. I'ma put up in the way and try to meet a red bone. She do her Dougie and every girl hating, but I'm thinking about escaping with her to head home. She got a friend, so it's a two-man, and I wanna run it even if her legs long. She like you, hubby. I think she love me, but I changed the subject and I do my Dougie. All the bros call me lucky, cause they see the girl I'm with and she ready, so we rushing. I turned off my kick cause